Leviathan. It's the Leviathan. It is. It's true. Anyway, so I mean, I can't do anything about tarot putting your American president into the role of nuclear man. I can't do anything about that. I can't do anything about that. I can't do anything about Judge Clark and Judge Kent in Agent Smith County, Texas, where this body jumper's at, putting me in the role of Superman. I can't do anything. She said they're starting to realize that practitioner's channeling the Most High, and it's what it is. I can't do anything about that. I can tell Nuclear Man, though, the biggest key to success is your greatest enemy. So if Judge Clark and Judge Kent, who they didn't have anything to do with Lake Isabella earthquake, she was a stepchild. They didn't have anything to do with her. But if the key to world peace is your greatest enemy, and Judge Clark and Judge Kent made me Superman because they didn't have anything. It's super not to have anything to do with the Lake Isabella earthquake. And I didn't have anything to do with Hurricane Barbara. I stayed away from her as much as possible. They didn't like the Fae trap, and she changed things. I mean, I had a cardinal come in and land on the bush. Spiritually, cardinal represents someone from the past looking over. And right at that time, I always match, like the cardinal, I always match the sign from the universe to the sign of the times. I think it was like 320. I posted it in the community page. Since we have such a corrupt community of Agent Smiths around here, it's Agent Smith County, Texas. Anyway, having the cardinal pop up, and then I did, it went right to the Glen. Well, wouldn't you know, the Glen is Lake Isabella's grandfather confirmation. What do we got? 2:12 on the clock, 5:39. It's just what it is. And now when you're talking about people who are stuck in the astral trying to play with me, I can't do anything about that. I can't do anything about that. What is it? She says, I don't know. I got to check it out. And that's what it is. When you leave me to put together a puzzle by picking up all your pieces, I can't put the puzzle together unless you left the pieces laying around on holidays. So that's what it is. And I mean, you got to think, if we're going to be playing Magic, Mirror, Empath, INFJ, well, the mirror can be seen as good and evil based on who's looking at it. So it's just what it is. However, I would say that if we want to get Nuclear Man out of this situation, and I mean Superman and Nuclear Man are always going to be all right. That's what it is, because you would be looking for a twin combination of secrets, and the moon represents secrets. So a Gemini moon, we're looking at, because if you're talking about, Pisces surrounded by the ancestors and angels, and now you have Donald Trump doing UFO disclosure as Nuclear Man, that's Superman, because Judge Clark and Judge Kent here in Agent Smith County, Texas, they didn't have anything to do with Lake Isabella earthquake on Mother's Day. They didn't have anything to do with that. However, Donald Trump does have something to do with UFO disclosure. So if, the son of Adam, if a conglomeration of atoms from the Pisces sun is going to step into a Superman role based on the association with Judge Clark and Judge Kent in Agent Smith County, Texas, it would seem that the best option would be to turn all of the little Atlantis Morsets and all of the Oprah Winfrey INFJs, Atlantis Morset and Oprah Winfrey INFJs, to treat them all like the little orphan Annies that they are. And that would take Donald Trump doing UFO disclosure, because he spoke some truth. So by give truth, get truth, that would make him Daddy Warbucks, and all the little INFJ girls would be little orphan Annie, because I can't do anything. I don't have access to nuclear weapons. I don't. And I think Donald Trump would do a whole lot better stepping away from being nuclear man and focusing on developing little Atlantises and Oprah Winfrey's, because I mean, you have to know your value, nuclear man. You just do. A bunch of women running around highly developed, and we still haven't figured out where Drew Barrymore is, the little fire starter with her fire magic backfiring. And it is well known that the INFJ is Dumbledore, so you don't have to expect a bunch of muggles to understand what's going on in this whole Harry Potter. Now, Harry Potter, he had the scar. He had the scar, and it's what it is. I can't do anything about that. However, he who should not be named, the warlock responsible for Agent Orange birth defects. It's not my fault Agent Orange made me Scarface. It's just what I'd rather be Superman than Scarface. I'd much rather be Superman than Scarface. It's just what it is. And I mean, when I hear you ladies say cocaine is a hell of a drug, I don't mess with that. So that certainly can't be me, but I would fit the Scarface role. And we want to step over into Super Harry Potter or Dumbledore. We'll just go for Dumbledore because I'm known for doing Dumbledore stuff. Anyway, y'all having fun yet? It's just what it is. I can't do anything about Judge Clark and Judge Kent. Those were the judges that did child custody. I can't do anything about Judge Clark and Judge Kent in Agent Smith County, Texas, not having anything to do with Lake Isabella earthquake. They didn't have anything to do with that. I don't know how they're associated with the Glen. The Glen, it's some kind of townhomes in my angel numbers. That's what it is. I used to remodel houses with the Glen, because he would now be the Glen, and instead of it being the Fae, she's just going to be the Fae Trap, and he'll be the Glen. And with this homeless voodoo backfire, we have to find a way to balance that out. I mean, Lake Isabella earthquake on Mother's Day, I didn't have anything to do with that. Judge Clark and Judge Kent didn't have anything to do with that. I don't know about Nuclear Man, because Nuclear Man has access to nuclear stuff. So, that's what it is. It seems like it would be just a better role reversal, a better Uno reversal card. I mean, Judge Clark and Judge Kent, that already makes me Superman, having Judge Clark and Judge Kent, the mild-mannered. That's what it is. Anyway. However, if Pisces is surrounded by the angels and the ancestors, well, that's like Michael J. Fox from The Frighteners, right? When the two Bonnie and Clyde ghosts were running around chasing people with the mark that had took the mark on their head. It's just what it is. And I mean, when you combine those energies, that's like Michael J. Fox and his Frighteners coming back to the future and stressing out your president like Biff with access to the Akashic Records. Or the Almanac. It was an Almanac in Back to the Future. It's just what it is. And we don't want Donald Trump to be looked at as Biff. Anyway, y'all, if you caught that, tell me in the comments. We don't want Donald Trump ending up being Biff in the end. We don't want Donald Trump being, and we certainly don't want him to be Nuclear Man. We want him to be Daddy Warbucks. Daddy Warbucks developing all the little orphan Annie INFJ women. And I don't have any problem throwing a turban on and being Punjab. I don't have any problem with that at all. Running around protecting the little orphan Annies. That's what it is. I can do that from here. I can do that with YouTube. The problem is knowing that the whole Disney scenario has always slid adult jokes. And because, I mean, come on, think about it. We're going to send the naughty little boys to the island. And then, they protect the little girls with Punjab. Okay, so Punjab is protecting little orphan Annie. Anyway, I don't have anything to do with that. And pushing up Daisy, I mean, that was kind of the underlying joke for John Wick's dog. And when you're talking about people are terrified of folks getting stuck in the astral because my energy affects them in ways they don't understand, that's the Most High's protection. You're talking about being being sent by the Most High, and you got to think, if the first is always the last, then that would absolutely make me the last one they wanted to wake up, and I can't do anything about that. Balance things out. I mean, it's what it is. I mean, what does Nuclear Man and Punjab protecting little orphan Annie have to do with the price of water in China? What does it have to do with the price of water in China? Or New Mexico, where I know they like to, you know, dip their women in the deluge before they sell them in New Mexico. It's just what it is. But you see something, say something. That shit doesn't work anymore. Shit doesn't work anymore. It's like staying 10 steps ahead with movies from the past. But now you have that bearded dragon doctor energy that's still in the cards. Yeah, something happened on a Zoom call. Well, yeah, you couldn't put a shirt on before you came all bearded dragon onto the call, and then popped up in the algorithm today with like 2 views. And it's what it is. I mean, we don't want to leave a bearded dragon doctor left behind with only 2 views, you know, and with all of these groups getting group or herd or a gaggle of karma. They're all getting a gaggle of karma. Now the bearded dragon doctor can help his clan escape from New York. Escape from New York. That's what it is. And then Superman can, because I've escaped Clark and Kent a long time ago. Superman can escape with Nuclear Man, and Nuclear Man can be Daddy Warbucks. Nuclear Man can be Daddy Warbucks, and I have no problem putting on a turban. I know that the turban represents somebody that, you know, that will give their life for you. So it's what it is. That's what that signifies. Somebody wearing a turban. That's an individual that you can go up to and ask for anything, and that turban represents that they will give their life for you. So you know you're safe. It's a safety thing. It's safety first. Safety first. And I spot underlying racism and shit like it was put there on purpose. Anyway, when I heard a reader say we have to concentrate on saving our own, I thought, well, as an Earth Angel, is that like Earthlings? Do we need to concentrate on saving Earthlings, or do we just give a fuck about some and not others? That's what it is. I mean, I would hate to think that, you know, people in New Mexico couldn't swim in China. That just doesn't make it. There's water in both places. It doesn't matter if there's a deluge in New Mexico or if there's a deluge in China. Both places require good swimmers. And I mean, with the homeless voodoo backfiring, I don't know anything about that shit. I don't play with homeless backfire. You would have to, number one, be doing homeless voodoo on an Earth Angel, and I don't do that. I'm the Earth Angel that teaches Reiki with teddy bears, and it's what it is. I can't do anything about that. I can't do it. They didn't want that to happen. They wanted to play with voodoo. Okay, great. So now they can go swim in New Mexico and China. That's what it is. It's just what it is. I don't know if Judge Clark and Judge Kent want anything to do with that, but they certainly don't have anything to do with Lake Isabella earthquake on Mother's Day. I don't know if they have anything to do with a halo down. I don't know if they have anything to do with a halo down. I certainly don't. I don't have anything to do with the Glen or, you know, the fallen angels until their names start coming up in the cards. With their names still coming up in the cards, and Hurricane Barbara, I don't have anything to do with Hurricane Barbara. She was married to the Glen. I don't have anything to do with the first hurricane of the season who was married to the Glen. I don't have anything, and they basically dealt with, I would say, the evil toxic ex with the devil working through them that I gave to all the daddies for Father's Day. I gave her to all the daddies for Father's Day, and there's plenty of those, because when you girls are talking about that body jumper, that Jinn that has followed Pisces from lifetime to lifetime, I mean that's kind of what it is. Because I mean my past life regressions, which are my own personal business, and I tell people, I was like, don't be telling people your past lives; they'll try to use it against you, and wouldn't you know, I should have done the opposite of what I tell my clients to do, because that works for my clients. But for me, you got Dorothy summoning Jinn, at least in the cards. That's who you said did it. And then that's going to go back on her and everybody in the Illuminati, because that's what you said, that it would curse them and all involved. And if she's involved with the Illuminati, well, then that curses all of those fuckers. That's what it is. They follow the light, and wouldn't you know, their whole job is, if you get to a degree of power, they shame you. And it's hard for them to do a humiliation ritual or to shame the Most High coming into power when you got Dorothy summoning Jinn and cursing herself and all involved. And she's involved with the Illuminati. So how are they going to shame the Most High coming into power? How are they going to shame a connection with the Most High coming into power when they've dog barking, when they've got, that means pay attention, alert, when they've got, Jinn working through them like a body jumper from Agent Smith County, Texas? I can't do anything about that. I mean, when you girls are talking about Masons, are you talking about that Freemason Hall right there across the street? Is that what y'all are talking about? Y'all talking about that Freemason Hall right there across the street? Or other side of the college. It's right it's in a school zone. It's right on the other side of the school in a school zone. College zone, that's what it is. I don't guess that really equates to, I don't know. I mean, if they're doing dark magic out of there, which I don't know that they are, but you girls are talking about Masons conjuring up shit right next to the Boy Scouts of America. They're in the same building. They're in the same building. And when you say that even the devil is jumping ship, which devil? Are you talking about the devil that's working through the toxic X that I gave to all the daddies for Father's Day? Is that the toxic devil that you're talking about? Okay. That's what it is. That's what it is. Okay. I can deal with that. I'm just glad I don't have anything to do with the toxic devil that's working through Pisces toxic X that I gave to all the daddies for Father's Day probably years ago. But with that energy still in the cards when Pisces opens a 5-star business, it wouldn't matter. What if it was a 5-star restaurant? At least they would be able to come in and go, or even not come in, but they would still be able to, the food sucked. We snuck in, had some food. The food sucked. No. I opened a healing business, and unhealed people can't go, yeah, we didn't get any healing because we never tried to. So if you try for the healing, then you have a possibility of making a judgment. But no, you've got a bunch of unhealed people playing with voodoo and homeless spells, causing Lake Isabella, California earthquake to be a great Mother's Day gift, because it was on Mother's Day. So you give the stepdaughter to the mom for Mother's Day. You got readers talking about Pisces toxic devil X, or the devil is working through Pisces toxic X. Okay, well, if that toxic X is the mother of Lake Isabella earthquake and has anything to do with the wolf y'all were talking about, this is the guitar player for Halo Down, a fallen angel band, okay, 1911 on the clock, then that's fine. You take all of them and wrap them up together, since they come from the church where the Glen and Hurricane Barbara go. Always with something to say. And it's what it is. It's like, I'm not out for revenge. I just ask for one simple thing. Don't be talking about my 4 kids and then throw earthquake Lake Isabella into the situation and not expect my intuition, my spidey senses to go off. my spidey senses are going to go off because you've got all these readers talking about a community of gang stalkers trying to get a reaction out of me in public when I just want to enjoy my coffee. I don't want to enjoy conversation on Lake Isabella earthquake. I don't even live in California on Mother's Day. So yeah, I would say this is absolutely an incredibly nasty divine intervention. It is. It's an absolutely divine intervention. I mean, the gang is all here. The gang, we've got Judge Clark and Judge Kent. That's what it is. And I mean, I don't have to be Superman. I don't have to be Superman, but Donald Trump doesn't have to be Nuclear Man either. Donald Trump doesn't have to be Nuclear Man, but if Judge Clark and Judge Kent are going to give me the chance to be Superman and scoop down and save Nuclear Man from doing something silly when he can be Daddy Warbucks, he can be Daddy Warbucks developing all the Oprah Winfrey's and Atlantis Morissettes with a new educational system. Since they are the underdogmas, is what it is. Atlantis Morissette was God in dogma, and the INFJ being the rarest personality type makes them the underdogmas. But no, see, that's the thing, is they don't want to empower people by waking them up to their strengths and their weaknesses. They want to use that empowerment test as a placement test and place them in society. They're easily controlled when they're not empowered. They're easily controlled when they're not empowered. However, empowering all the little orphan Annies, I mean, she's always kicking people in the knees. It's just what it is. It's the hard knocks life. Having so much fun with this. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. But I mean, you have to ask yourself, what does Judge Clark, Judge Kent, Lake Isabella earthquake, Hurricane Barbara being the first storm of the season, married to the Glen that's the deacon of the church, a beautiful cardinal, that's what it is, represents past life loved ones coming to visit. Nuclear Man, what is Nuclear Man? What does Masons across the street in you just said Masons are in the cards. Well, I got Masons across the street. So if you've got Masons in the cards around the Sun, Earth, Angel, Healer, and I've got Masons across the street, no such thing as coincidence. Everything happens for a reason. That's what it is. However, we don't want to be stressing out Donald Trump like he's Biff. We don't want to be stressing Donald Trump out like he's Biff. And if the angelic Reiki master is already surrounded by the ancestors and angels, like Michael J. Fox from the Frighteners, then we don't want Biff to have access to the almanac and abuse it for power while the world gets destroyed. Like Back to the Future, it's just what it is. And we want to stay in the present moment. We don't want to be focusing on the past. We don't want to focus on the. But I mean, in this current moment, is New Mexico underwater? Because I just saw that with like last week. That's still a current flow of water on the land. That's still a current flow of water on the land. And I mean, it said tens of thousands of people a day ago, or 10,000 people a day ago in China. And I mean, they want me to shut up, but I said all of this last year. I said natural disasters, but we didn't have them yet. We didn't have the natural disasters, and we certainly didn't think they were going to be named after my family members on holidays. So, and you can change your role at any time. So, I have to practice what I learned from Dolores Cannon. You are the director, the writer, the producer, the screenplay, whatever. You're everything. You even do your own stunts, lead actor. But when you're the lead actor with a bunch of NPCs and what do we got? 6 o'clock, 6:01. When you got a bunch of humans without God Force energy doubled up on them, it's what it is. I can't do anything about that. Can't do anything about that. Anyway, y'all go figure out. You go figure out your role. You go figure out your role, because they're putting me in a a multitude of different roles. I'm able to jump roles while y'all have a bunch of body jumpers from a gin, Dorothy. So many guys, ancient demons. What the fuck were they possibly thinking? Forbidden magic. You think they did that? That's what it is. 2,500-year-old Reiki, been around 2,500 years. Can't be too fucking forbidden. But I mean, when you talk about Masons doing forbidden magic, you talking about the Masons across the street? There's Mason Hall right across the street. You said they're doing it on the Earth Angel, but now they're jumping ship. Now the devil's jumping ship because the Earth Angel's speaking truth about that Mason Hall right there across the street. Is that the one y'all are talking about? Because you ladies said it first, and that shit's right there. So if you said it first, and that shit's right there, chances are somebody took a shit right there. And I'm more concerned about being Superman with Nuclear Man. So that's what it is. That's what it is. I can't do it. And Donald Trump doesn't have to be Nuclear Man. Thank you, sweet bird. Probably time for me to shut up. I think it's time for me to shut up. Namaste.